We know that this Golden Week in particular will be longer than usual because we have overlapping festivals. How much activity are you expecting to see?
We're already seeing a strong start. We've reached out to many retailers throughout China. And what was very interesting this year, and I would say even almost unusual, is the strong lead up into the holiday. As you mentioned, today is incredibly special with the double celebration of both the Mid-Autumn Festival and National Days. So really exciting for everybody in China today.
So let's talk a little bit about travel, because it looks like Chinese people are now starting to travel domestically. How will this compare to, say, outbound trips? And where are you going to see the focus on all of this activity?
We're seeing quite a bit of domestic travel. We're hearing, kind of many, this is being referred to in many different ways, this idea of kind of the travel carnival, revenge travel. And we are seeing not only, many bookings, and the numbers are quite astonishing. 550 million citizens are expected to travel. These are the official estimates. When you consider the approximately 325 million citizens in the US, this is a significant number. And the fact that, for the most part, the dollar spent will remain inside of China. I continue to talk about this idea of the repatriation of spending inside of China. This will continue to drive the Chinese economy this holiday season. And we believe that we will continue to see this idea of, this, kind of Golden Week and Mid-Autumn Festival, very significant spending, not only around travel, but also, kind of gifts to parents and, a lot around health and wellness as well.
Yeah, Deborah, we know in a way this kind of works well within the longer term policy objectives for Beijing, right? They've long been trying to boost domestic consumption, supporting homegrown Chinese brands. So does this kind of thing, as you say, the revenge travel, the pandemic reunion dressing, if you will, does it have longer term implications for changing the way Chinese consumers spend?
As you know, we work with many Western brands who have, long been interested in the Chinese market for, growth. And, as the Chinese tourists have also, traveled to the West, we continue to see significant growth and significant interest by the Chinese consumer in these Western brands. Growth has been, I would say outsized this year, as in the past, and for some brands even stronger than historically. What I've been surprised is that we have yet to see strong growth in terms of, Chinese luxury brands. I do think that, is to come, but this idea around, growth in domestic consumption, I think that there continues to be opportunity, especially in certain categories. But this idea around discovery from a tourist perspective, I think that there's a lot of opportunity, and, maybe this is just the beginning.
You mentioned some of those other things that people will be consuming, not only travel, but also gifts and so forth. Where are you going to see most strength when it comes to the consumption side of things?
So if we look at some of the very strong categories, I'll talk about the things that you wouldn't necessarily expect, right? Roasted nuts, fresh fruits, beverages, and then a lot of, some of the gifts to parents as well. And these, can be in any one of, kind of a number of categories. But we spoke, to prepare for this interview. We got on the phone very, about midday and made, many calls to retailers, and they've seen strength across the board: beauty, apparel, footwear, jewelry, handbags. It's all been strong, and across price categories as well, from, sub $4 to, kind of over 400. It says to us that the economy is quite strong. Much of this is driven by group buying, live streaming, gamification, and I would just say there's this overall optimism. And I do think that much of it has been driven by what, the, country faced in January and February, and having, kind of being on the other side of it now, and really truly being able to celebrate this double celebration. I feel that there is this renewed sense of optimism like I really haven't seen in quite some time. So I think that they're celebrating with, giving gifts, not only to others, but this idea of self-gifting as well.
It's not only about the sale of mooncakes then, it's just across the board. So tell us a little bit about this narrative, though, that we've been seeing from economists, that perhaps the recovery in China is a little bit uneven, that you're seeing a lot of spending on those luxury goods, on expensive cars, but not necessarily so much in the basics and essentials, because the poor in China are not doing as well.
I think that, there is this idea around, some of the changes that we had seen in the economy. And I think, much of it was this idea that there had been, some new areas of the economy. And I think that, anytime, and, we've seen this throughout history, and, I think all of us have gone through, some changes in economic activity, right? Based on what we've seen in January and February, we will see, kind of some new economic activity created. We're just still waiting for that. So, of course, we will have seen some areas of the economy that have certainly taken a slumber, let's say, and we're waiting for those to kind of rise up again. So, yes, of course, there are some areas that have taken a bit of a pause, but there will be, kind of areas to be created again. What we had seen, what was very interesting, I would say, let's talk about the past 5 years, were these, right, tier 3, 4, and 5 cities that had significant economic activity. At this point, those tier 3, 4, and 5 cities have, let's say, maybe taken a bit of a pause, and that, there may be areas of opportunity that we see, let's say, as we go into the back half of 21. And there are, whether it's, the next generation of live streaming or the next generation of AI, but I do think that we will see everyone, kind of working together.
Right.
Side.